Right, bit of an update. I've had 2 cups of coffee. Indicators are remaining silent. I've got the kettle on again. Yeah, I've got the kettle on again because I do like my coffee. It's getting a bit cold out there today. All I've got with me, well, I haven't. This ain't all I've got with me. I've got my 3-season sleeping bag with a thermal cover, even though I do need a new thermal cover. If I get cold tonight and I stay tomorrow night, then I've got my 5-season bag in the car, but I shall leave my 3-season on the bed chair, so it's sort of like a underlay barrier, stop the cold coming up through. The hell? Oh well. So we'll just have to wait and see what the temperature is going to be tonight. Been keeping my eye on the temperature through the week, and mostly it's been mid-singles, 5, 6, 7 degrees at night. Last night there was a frost that I didn't know about until I checked my car today, and the temperature at the moment is only about 3 degrees, something like that, so it's going to be bloody cold tonight. Got clear skies already, so like I say, it's going to be bloody cold tonight. Come round about 6, about 6 o'clock, I should be getting tucked up inside the bag. She ain't got to sleep, but I should be tucked up in the bag. Because I've just been chatting to one of my old mates. I've known him for we've known each other for years. And he turned around and said, the luxuries we've got now, yeah, and that's before I smoked my fag. Sleeping bags we've got now are a million times better than what we used to have. It's the bloody old Argos sleeping bags. Now they was used to get cold at night. But we shall see what the night brings. I've always got my gas cooker down here to crank on for half hour if it does get a bit cold tonight. In actual fact, the tackle that we got available nowadays is a damn sight, a damn sight better than what we used to have. I mean, back in the day, a long range rod used to be 2.5 pound test curve. Now, as a standard rod, I use a 2 3/4. I've not got 2 3/4 with me today. I've got me 3-pounders. I use my 2 3/4 on another lake on the complex that's a little bit smaller than this one. So I've also got some 3 1/4s, but they're mostly for long range and bag work. Not that I fish a lot of PVA bags. I suppose you should do really, but the rigs I use don't really lend themselves to PVA bags. Yeah, I use uncoated braids. I use uncoated braids a lot, but a lot more I do use Combi Rigs fluoro stroke braid. And I'm only the braided section from the knot to the eye of the hook is only about 10 mil, because when the fish, the way I think about it, when the fish pick the bait up, if you got the stiff fluoro in the mouth, then when they're trying to spit out the bait, there's a whole lot of area for that hook to catch hold. You know, whereas if you're using a stiff rig, then it's pretty much similar, but it's only sort of in and out like that. But we're doing it with doing the end section with braid, it's sort of like that. Well, that's my theory anyway. Whether it works like that or not, I don't know. I do use stiff rigs, but not very often. Stiff rigs near snags. But then saying that, when I fish snags, I bait up about 3 or 4 yards short of the snags, and then I fish my bait between my baited area and the snags, so as that they're used to coming out picking up bait, and when they come out the snags, my bait is the first one they come across, so I have a feel like that. Right, I think I'll sign off, drink my coffee, and then sort of get ready for me for a late dinner, early tea. And like I say, slip into the bag about 6 o'clock. Got me a remote with me, which is just here. Just there. An ATTX remote to go with my Nevs, because I've got Nev backs, ATTX backs on it. Right, coffee's brewed. I'll speak to you later. Well, another report. Nothing's happened. Absolutely nothing. Not seeing a fish jump, roll, bubble, no nothing. It looks like it's as dead as a dodo. So, looks like it's going to be a tough nut to crack. Put them bubbles over there. So, I mean, I don't know what time it is. I suppose it's 3:30ish. Might be wrong. Mostly am. Maybe they're not visiting the area because I've not been putting enough bait in. But I've been putting in 2.5 to 3 kilo a week. Put the ridge monkey on. Still looks a bit dark. Still, never mind. Got the kettle on again. Tomorrow I'll go winter fishing. The kettle's always on. This must be, I don't know, 5th, 6th cup of the day. So, right, that's the end of the report. Oh, while I'm here, I might as well show you some rigs if you can see them. What we've got in this one? Yeah. Yeah, this one. Right, this one is my normal combi slip D. That stiff section is £15 mouth trap. That's one of the chod filament sections. There's the, hello, we've got a duck in here somewhere. There's the hinge, and come here. And there, if you can see that, is the slip D arrangement. Yeah. That one is tied to a Gardner incisor. Yeah, I use them mostly in France or as a snag hook, but as I said earlier, I don't use them as, don't use snag hooks as such. There is my long shank nailer 360 rig. That there, can you see that? That there is a tungsten bead made by PG Products. That's the, I think that's the 0.4 of a gram one, because some of the pop-ups I've got, I mostly use pop-ups, I mostly use 12mm sticky bait. It's Signatures, which are here. You get 3 different colours, which I do like. It's a white one, pink one, yellow, no, white one, yellow ones. There's a yellow one. Oh shit. Where did that one go? Oh well, drop on them wood. Can't find it. The reason I initially brought these was because I do like the colour. But since I started to use them, I've had a lot of fish on. There is a 12mm white one. There is a 12mm washed out pink. And there is a washed out yellow. Now, like I say, I only initially brought them because I like the colours, but since buying them I've had a lot of fish on them. No doubt if I'd have offered another colour or another flavour but the same situation, I'd have had a fish on them anyway. But you use what you got confidence in, and I've got confidence in those colours rather than the blatant oranges, yellows, pinks, whites, reds. In fact, the first time I used them, on a tricky lake on the complex, the first night I had a 25, so you can see why my confidence is high in them. I've got a yellow one, washed out yellow, and a washed out pink one out there. Just to see which they prefer. And then over the baited patch, or baited particle patch I should say, which is why I've got them set at different depths as well. I mean, it's only a matter of a quarter of an inch difference, because like I say, one's a long shank nailer and the other one's a size 5 curve. I can swap over to whichever one I get the bite on, if I get a bite. Hello, bloody flying rats will come from nowhere. Anything, it's good job I ain't got a bait up. So yeah, anyway, back to this rig. Ooh. Size 11 ring swivel. That one is not a long shank nailer, that's a rigmarole hunchback. It has got a very slight curve in the shank, as you can see. The stop bead down the bottom there is, like I say, a tungsten bead from PB Products. A size 20 swivel on the hook shank, stopped by another bead just before the, well, just after the start of the bend, and then that way it sits like that. So if you're that way inclined, if the fish comes in from the top, it don't see the hook if you're that way inclined. I don't believe in that theory. After all, they see God knows what on the bottom every day of their lives. So I'll just put it on that just past the bend, so as I've got a little bit more, just a fraction and more height. I mean, it can be moved down or moved up or whatever, but that's where I like to start, just on the start of the bend. And that also goes with the size 5 curve shank as well. I have them sort of similar sort of position on the hook, but I don't, on the size 5 curve shank, I don't have the tungsten bead. I have just a normal bead. What we've got in this one. These are my braided rigs. In actual fact, I've got some long shank nailer rigs there, 360s. This is my braided rig, or one of my braided rigs. This is tied with, no it ain't, Supernova. I only use 2 uncoated braids, Supernova and Merlin, both from Christon. Starting at the hook, extended hair to do a bottom bait. Hair is trapped, that should be on the bend. Hair is trapped as such for the bait. Next, there is a standard liner from Fox. That's tied knotless knot style underneath. 2 very small hook link sinkers. I can't remember where I've got them from. Yeah, that's right. That was 1 hook link sinker. That's 1 hook link sinker, but I did cut it in half because ouch, my hook's still sharp. Because you don't need a lot on the hook length to sink it down. Anti-tangle sleeve and a loop in the end for attaching to a quick clip. There you go, loop on the end to attach it to your quick clip. If I was to use this in a PVA bag, because that's exactly the rig that I would use, I would only put a small piece of putty on there like that, and I would shorten it down to around about that. I mean, as that stands at the minute, that's what, I suppose that's about 6 inches. Well, you've got a tape measure here. 10mm pop up, 12mm pop up, and that was a 16mm bottom bait, but that's a fish meal bait. So that's 2 of my rigs, well 3 of my rigs, and basically they're the only rigs that I use. I do use a withy pole rig, but we all know what a withy pole rig looks like, and they're on my chod bin, and I've got some chod sections in there as well, but I don't use the chod. I use them for stiff hinge rigs. Yeah, I want a true stiff hinge, because the chod's the hook length section is exactly the same. So that's an insight into the rigs. Right, so I'll turn off and drink my coffee and see what turns up later. Right, see you later.